Hi, and welcome to this Fornav coffee break. My name is René Brummel. I'm a product specialist at Fornav and I will be your presenter today. As this coffee break is live, you can ask your questions via the GoToWebinar question window. We will answer them at the end of the coffee break. Today we're going to look at adding multiple signatures to your Business Central check reports. Please consider this scenario. We want to display two signatures when the amount is under $1,500, one signature when the amount is under $5,000, and no signature when the amount is above $5,000. To demonstrate how to add multiple signatures, we will use the Fornav check setup table and the check report from the Fornav customizable report pack. However, you can add multiple signatures to any report in any extension using the instructions from this coffee break. To demonstrate adding multiple signatures, I'm going to use these steps. Prerequisites, what do I need to get going? In step 2, I will add signatures to the check setup table. In step 3, I will add the signature images to the check. In step 4, I will use JavaScript to select the correct signature. Let's start with the first step. Today I will be adding signatures in a Business Central on-premise Docker installation with the Business Central 2020 Wave 2 release. I've installed the Fornav customizable report pack and I've executed a step-by-step wizard from the assisted setup to get started. Of course, everything I do today is also available on the Business Central cloud environment. I also have the Fornav Designer installed on my PC. The Fornav Designer can be downloaded from the Fornav website. The first thing we need to do is upload the signatures we want to use. There is a table in the report pack we can use for this, the check setup. Of course, you can also use custom tables with blob fields from your own extension. So let's go and have a look at this check setup table. You search for Fornav check, you will find the setup table anyway. And in the Fornav check setup table, you will find your general setup, like your maker encoding and your layout, and also the visuals for the watermark and the two signature file names. So I'm going to import the first signature, which is going to be Picasso, and I will import the second signature, which is going to be Van Gogh. The next step is to add the signature images and the lines we want to display on our check. To do so, of course, I'm going to need to edit the check report in the Fornav Designer. And for that, I'm just going to go to the payment journals. And in the payment journals, I have my check. Let's print the check to see what it looks like right now. You will notice I have reprint checks set to true because I'm designing in a sandbox environment. So I'll just reprint whatever I have. And if I print, you will notice that the default Fornav check just loads this the first signature. There's no lines or anything else. It just loads the first signature on the check. Of course, we don't want that, so we are going to design a check, which opens the check layout in Fornav. You will notice right here, I just have the one check, the Fornav check setup.signature. And I want to add the second signature field to the second signature image to my check. And to do that, I'm going to find my field list. And in the field list, I have the Fornav check setup. In the Fornav check setup, I have my V second signature. I'm simply going to drag this into my Fornav layout with the Shift key pressed, which means that if I release my mouse button, Fornav asks me what kind of box I want to create, which of course is a picture box. And then I want this to have the same size as the first signature. So I'm going to use the Fornav layout tools, make the same width, make the same height, align to the left, and remove vertical spacing. So that adds the second signature for me. Now, before the second signature is going to be printed on the report, it needs to be calculated first. These signatures are in blob fields, and blob fields need to be calculated when you get the table. And to do so, I'm going to find my onPre-report trigger. And in the onPre-report trigger, we have a Fornav check setup calc fields signature. And I'm going to copy that one and paste it and make that into V2ND signature. So that will calculate the contents of the field in the table and allow me to use that image on my report. Finally, I want some lines in here because we want when there's no signatures displayed, we want a line for somebody to add a signature to manually. So to do that, I'm simply going to grab a shape and set the shape to horizontal line, make it a bit less tall, and finally I want to make it the same width as my signature field, so I'm going to say make the same width, paste it right there, and create another line via copy paste and put it at the bottom of the second signature image. Save my layout, go back to Business Central, and let's print a check. Right now you will notice I have two signatures, I have Picasso and Vincent van Gogh, and the two lines underneath my checks. Finally, we want to add the logic to choose which signature and which blank line is displayed. So that logic being that on the first check, this one is over 5,000, I would expect two underlines and no signatures. On the second one, which is under $1,500, I would expect my first signature to display, and the second one and no lines. And on the third one, I would expect only the second signature to display and a line for the first signature. So to do so, let's go back to my 4nav layout. Then the 4nav layout, I can choose which control I want to show or hide and the conditions. And if I want to choose how and when to display a control, I'm going to do so with the show output property. If I select the control, in the properties I find the show output, and the show output, if I drill down, can contain a little bit of JavaScript to determine whether the control is shown or not. And to create that JavaScript, I'm simply going to use the model amount paid, which is the total amount paid, and I'm going to say is smaller or equal than 1,500. And this will return true when the total check amount is under 1,500. And if it returns true, then this control is going to be displayed. I'm going to copy this and hit OK. For the second image, once again, go to my show output. And in this case, let's paste what I have. I want my image to display when the amount is smaller than 5,000. So those are the signature images. Secondly, I want to check, I want to set the display of my underlines, and I want these to have the opposite behavior. So in first case, I want the line to be displayed when the amount paid is greater than 1,500. Of course, I'm not using greater or equal because that means that if the amount would be exactly 1,500, I would have both an underline and a signature. I want this to be displayed only when the amount is greater than 1,500. And for the second line, once again, show output. I will say greater than 5,000. Hit OK. Hit save. Go back to Business Central. Let's try printing this check again. There we go. The first check, which is greater than 5,000, just has two underlines. The second check, which is under 1,500 and under 5,000, has the two signatures but no underlines. And the third check, which is under 5,000 but greater than 1,500, has the underline for the first signature and the signature image for the second signature. Let's recap what we just did. The first thing we did is add the signatures to the check setup table in Business Central. After we did this, we were able to use these signatures in our check reports. Finally, we use JavaScript in the show output properties to determine what gets displayed when. If you want to know more about what you can do with JavaScript, please visit our brand new 4nav guide. Thank you for listening to me so far. We don't have any questions at the moment. If you do have any questions whilst listening, please type them in the GoToWebinar question window. I will continue with closing this webinar. If you want to know more about 4nav, please visit 4nav.com. If you want to download the 4nav Designer or the 4nav Converter, please visit 4nav.com/download. If you want to install 4nav in your cloud system, in your Business Central Cloud, please visit the Microsoft App Source and search for 4nav. And if you want to know more about 4nav, want to see more of these coffee break videos or other videos, please visit our YouTube channel. And if you have any questions about 4nav after this webinar, or if you're watching on YouTube, please email them to support@4nav.com. Of course, we'll continue our coffee breaks on 4nav.com/coffee break. You will find all the recorded and future coffee breaks. And finally, if you have any suggestions for future 4nav coffee breaks, please let us know. And if your suggestion is selected, you will win a €50 or dollar gift certificate as a thank you. With that, we still don't have any questions, so I will close this webinar. Thank you very much for listening, and I will speak to you in the next coffee break. Goodbye.